मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि instead of pretending to say that you like this or you have a passion for this, it's okay to be uncertain and keep exploring.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I feel if you are lucky enough to find it what you're passionate of, you can endure the challenges that you face. And if you don't, and if you keep pretending that you like it, it'll be tough to maintain the challenges that you face in that industry and the work that you do.
सबसे proudest और सबसे weakest और सबसे challenging moments क्या रहे हैं?
And one of the biggest challenges that I faced was when I got laid off from my consulting firm in New York. I won't get into the reasons, but given the market scenario that it was for tech companies, I was one of the employees who got laid off, along with all the employees who got hired that year.
अगर audience को ऋषि कौन है जानना है, तो एक movie character कि भाई ये movie देख लोगे तो that is me.
Yeah. So maybe Ved from Tamasha or Aditya.
I had a feeling that.
Aditya from Jab We Met. I mean, those are my go-to characters sometimes.
कोई advice for someone who is moving? Hello and welcome to another episode of Log Kya Kahenge with Jay Wakawala. And this time we have another friend of mine from Masters at University of Rochester who also has done business analytics. Rhushi Shah, a fellow Gujju from Mumbai. And आज हम ढेर सारी बात करेंगे and बहुत ही interesting बातें भी करेंगे और जानेंगे कि ऋषि का सफ़र US आने तक कैसा रहा. वो सफ़र था या सफ़र था, इंग्लिश वाला या हिंदी वाला. तो बहुत ही exciting बातें होने वाली है. ऋषि, why don't you introduce yourself? How was your professional journey, personal journey? यहाँ US में आज कैसा है? मतलब, what's your story?
Yeah, firstly, thank you for inviting me on this podcast. I feel this will be one of my most productive Saturday mornings that I will have in States. Anyways, so I was born and brought up in Mumbai. So I'm young enough to claim that when I was born, it was still Mumbai, it was not Bombay. So that's great. I studied and did my initial years of college, high school, which we call, and that in Mumbai itself. After
Junior
that,
college, matlab,
yes, 11th, 12th. And then for a few months, I was pursuing BBA in Singapore. Don't ask me why I did that, but I even left it because I figured out I need to do a little something technical in my undergraduate. Again, it's my personal opinion, no hard feelings for anyone who pursues BBA. But then I left it like after a year, and then I was in Delhi studying economics, and I completed the same program in Mumbai for next 2 years. And after that, during COVID times, like most of us were facing uncertainty, even I was facing the same in terms of my career and what I want to pursue in the future. However, my parents nudged me that I should make a decision to go to the States, and yeah, that's how I ended up here.
Oh, okay. So parents का बहुत contribution था to.
Yeah. Just like every Indian family parent does to us.
अच्छा, nice. और just like every Gujju family, I think.
Yeah.
हाँ, मतलब पर काफी इंटरेस्टिंग. मतलब 2 महीने ही सिंगापुर में थे.
4 महीने.
4 महीने. Okay. तो
but it's so small that वो 4 महीने में मैंने एक्सप्लोर कर लिया था वो सिटी. तो
सिंगापुर एक कंट्री.
Yeah, smaller than Mumbai. So,
yeah. But तो कैसे, मतलब क्यों ये बहुत ही varied path from BBA to economics to business analytics? मतलब ये वो फरहान वाला मोमेंट है from 3 Idiots की पापा मैं फोटोग्राफी करना चाहता हूँ, ऐसा कुछ हुआ था क्या कि
to be honest though, at least in his case, he figured out the passion. At this point in time, I still haven't figured out my passion. But I feel I think I was privileged enough to make a choice that I don't want to do it. Many families in India don't have that privilege. Many people want to switch. Like I think in first year of engineering, लोगों को figure out हो जाता है कि यार ये शायद मुझे नहीं करना. But वो pressure रहता है, financial pressure, and sometimes you have the pressure from your family. My family was receptive enough and understanding for the decision that I had that I don't want to continue. And मुझे भी like after Singapore 1 year in Delhi, I figured out कि Delhi में ये 1 साल is more than enough, and my friends were also leaving the college, so I didn't feel like कि मुझे वहाँ continue करना है. Having said that, I still continued that degree in Mumbai itself, so it's not like I halted it वहीं पे कि because मुझे practicality standpoint से भी ऐसा नहीं लगा कि यार अभी मैं वापस छोड़ दूंगा, then I'll have to start again. So yeah, that's how I feel I started. But in my defense, I feel I got to explore so many cities in my undergraduate itself.
Oh yeah, I mean Singapore, Delhi, Mumbai, सब कुछ. But इकोनॉमिक्स पर थोड़ी डिस्कशन करेंगे क्योंकि मैंने भी इकोनॉमिक्स में बैचलर्स किया है फ्रॉम मुंबई सेंट जेवियर्स कॉलेज. तो क्यों इकोनॉमिक्स छोड़ा? लाइक इकोनॉमिक्स मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा पैशन हुआ करता था. तो was it the same? Was it why you went to economics, and why did you leave after that? Why did you make a decision to go to business analytics after that?
I think with economics, what happened was, and maybe at that point, my opinion of economics was that after you study economics, there are 2-3 traditional things you could do. Either you get into academia, or you get into financial services. I was not sure whether I wanted to get into academia. Uh, Usually, people who study economics, they get into financial services. I feel I wanted to still get into a more creative type of a business environment, and that's how I ended up studying business analytics. If you know that many in our business analytics program also we had a module of economics. So I felt like I feel the economics that I like, that I know is good enough for what I want to do in the future. I'm not sure if I would have kept liking economics as much if I would have get more depth
into
in terms of
academia और
yes.
सब सेम. मतलब मेरा एक पॉइंट पे था कि एकेडेमिया में मैं जाऊँ, बट बहुत अच्छे टीचर्स मिले मेरे को जिन्होंने मेरा पूरा मोटिवेशन ही लूज करवा दिया कि यार अगर इकोनॉमिक्स ये है तो नहीं करना है. बट आई स्टिल लव इकोनॉमिक्स. मेरा एक सेम चैनल पे मैं इकोनॉमिक्स के वीडियोस भी डालता रहता हूँ इन केस. आई थिंक यू हैव वॉच्ड अ लॉट.
I still follow the works of Abhijit Banerjee, Esther Duflo, and for those who don't know, they are the Nobel laureates who did pioneers in development economics. So in a way, I can say that economics has not left me. I have just not pursued enough a career trajectory traditionally in economics.
Makes sense. Same. बहुत ही similar है. मैं काफी relate कर रहा हूँ. तो moving on to like USA का decision. कैसे मतलब like you mentioned कि भाई parents ने थोड़ा nudge किया, but was it always on your book since a long time? What were your thoughts when you were moving before US कि यार क्या होगा वहाँ पे immigration का बहुत बड़े drama है मतलब. So and then at that time I think Trump was also going in and out वाला चीज था. तो like what made you that decision?
A couple of points you already mentioned. So the first thing is I was not sure about US mainly because I'm not an engineer. मेरा mindset ये था कि it's only the engineers who go to the States. I didn't know there was a field for me also to pursue and a scope for me to do something because I don't have a technical background as such. But
IT वाले ही जाते हैं
हाँ वही and वही traditional thought process था. And then a little nudge and push from my parents, from my sister, I think it gave me a little confidence that maybe I can do it if they believe. I think, but then every Indian parent believes in their child. Having said that, I got a little confidence from them that I can do something. And then once they pushed me, then I made my own decision what I want to pursue, which university I want to go to. So that was that. And also, since you mentioned Trump, I made the decision in fall of 2020, and Trump administration didn't continue because the US election were won by Democrats. So that also gave me a little freedom in terms of that. Yeah, I think if I pursue the degree over here, I definitely feel there is some scope given that the administration has also changed.
अच्छा, makes sense. Like मेरा भी काफ़ी सिमिलर ही प्रोसेस रहा है, बट ऑल्दो मेरी फैमिली को नच करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ी. मैं पहले से ही था कि नहीं यूएस आना है. बट कोई रिलेटिव है यूएस में कि जिन्होंने कॉन्फिडेंस दिया होगा कि चलो, जैसे मेरे मामा है, तो looking at someone who is already there, been to the US from your family, sometimes gives you that motivation that okay, मतलब ये लोग हैं यहाँ पे, कुछ help मिल जाएगी. So do you have any like?
So I have my one uncle and my first cousin who stays in Boston. So मुझे we had to come to Rochester for our masters, but 1 week before that I was in Boston, just getting used to the US environment.
That helps a lot.
Jet lag, ensuring my finances are correct and everything. And those who don't know, we both were one of the few people who were privileged enough to have a credit card in the first month itself. Because I think you got a support from your uncle, I got a support from my cousin. So having a Bank of America credit card in the first month
itself is not sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. So Usually people settle down with Discover. Again, it's a great, but I feel just having a Bank of America helped me to improve my credit score early on. And this boils down to explaining why having a family helps.
Yeah. Actually, this is a very good thing that you mentioned because ये podcast के through मेरे को यही जो लोग US आना चाहते हैं इंडिया में या कहीं और भी तो I want to let them know that okay, when they come into the US, what are the things that they have to look out for? Like if you have a family, if you can get a credit card as soon as possible, then that really helps. But thanks for bringing that up. So, did you work in India at a company or something, or was it like direct masters?
I won't say I worked. I was in a family business during COVID times, helping my father. Having said that, I did do internships in a fintech firm, financial services specifically, and even in a brokerage firm. And around that time, I figured out that maybe traditional finance is not something I want to pursue.
मतलब जो equity research,
equity research, credit risk analyst, these things I feel I just don't want to work with money all the time. I want money to be involved, but I don't want to work for it though on a day-to-day basis. Because that was not my interest.
Makes sense.
I wanted something a little more creative and
तेरी और मेरी जर्नी बहुत सिमिलर रही है. मैंने भी एक ब्रोकरेज फर्म में काम किया था, फिनटेक्स में काम किया है एज इंटर्नशिप्स ओनली, नॉट एज फुल टाइम जॉब्स. But then what was your professional journey in terms of work has been in USA?
In the States, I actually got my first internship at FedEx. And to be honest, landing an internship after 1 year of master's program, it's a little difficult. And I would only give credit to the luck because what was happening was the timing of when we
तो खुद का capability
यार मतलब I'm just being modest here. Of course, basic requirement तो सभी करते हैं, but मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि how did I land up an internship after? It was my first job, traditional job application that I did.
And for the audience, I think हम सब में से as long as पूरा cohort है और इंडियन लोग हैं, सब में से सबसे पहले internship मिली थी ऋषि को.
And I was like shocked कि यार मतलब अभी ये लग गया है, and I was also not sure. And that's when I figured out there's so many variables when you're in this country that are not in your control. Basic level of effort is of course required, but it just worked out well at that time. And also 2022 was when the markets were opening up post-COVID. So that was my first initial experience. Then I had a short stint at a consulting firm in New York. And after that, I was in Salt Lake City working for a year in Goldman. And then for past 1 year, yes. And for past 1 year, I'm in DC working for Capital One.
Nice. Senior BA. Capital One. I think last podcast में ही we had Anushka who is also working at Capital One. I think यहाँ पे बहुत लोग मिल ही जाएंगे.
Yeah, because this area where we stay, it's almost surrounded with IT companies and Capital One. So many of the employees that you see, you will mingle around them who are from the same company.
Same company. Agreed. So US आने के बाद सबसे proudest moments या फिर I'll ask both the extremes. मतलब सबसे proudest और सबसे weakest और सबसे challenging moments क्या रहे हैं? Because I really want that to highlight कि to the audience कि तुमको US आके क्या face करना पड़ सकता है और क्या अच्छी चीजें भी हो सकती है. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ही side है. So yeah, on to you.
I feel of course your traditional achievements are like due for me to say that yes, this are one of the proudest moments for me and my family, like graduating, landing your first job. But I think it's how you handle yourself during tough times, which I can assure you there'll be multiple when you are in States, because there are so many things. Being an immigrant, you are facing so many challenges. And one of the biggest challenges that I faced was when I got laid off from my consulting firm in New York. I won't get into the reasons, but given the market scenario that it was for tech companies, I was one of the employees who got laid off, along with all the employees who got hired that year. And
कितने layoff हुए थे उस time? Like, do you have like
there were multiple phases of layoff. So I was the first phase because they laid off everyone they hired that year. And from next year also, from what I know, they had laid off other folks also.
तो ये लोग बहुत I'll get a little personal. ये लोग बहुत ruthless होते हैं कि क्या एक मेल आया और खत्म उस दिन से?
नहीं, मेरे केस में they were not ruthless. I think maybe in the phases after that they became ruthless because they got used to it. हाँ यार मतलब अभी कितना ही pity दिखा दो, you know.
हाँ
But yeah, I think the layoff scenario in states, they are a little more ruthless if you are coming from India. Not that I have an experience of being laid off in India, but I feel the capitalism ka nature and how the culture is over here, they are to the point and they're upfront than we
हाँ
Indians would want it to be.
हाँ, makes sense.
So having said that, yeah, the proudest moment is just going back in the game, just being resilient in those tough times, sticking to the basics, not letting my emotions overflow in the rational decisions that you need to make to get back in the job market. तो वही सब था यार, and I think during these times you realize who are your constant support. तो मुझे तो लगता है that phase shaped me as a person also, and I feel that has been one of the proudest moments for me.
Proudest and the weakest
Yeah,
times
of course.
also.
Weakest, the first initial weeks, I'm like, yeah, I was just sitting near the window and having a sip of coffee and chai, and then I'm figuring out, yeah, what should I do next? Because
India चले जाए
yeah,
कि
exactly, right. And what happens is कि during these times, if you let your emotions overflow, it can lead to such a negative spiral thinking कि your actions wouldn't be right at those point in time.
yeah
So ensuring you have good support,
yeah
and which
makes
I
a
was
lot of
privileged
difference.
enough to have,
Yeah
and just getting back and sticking to basics and foundations of how you first landed an internship and a job, and just going in the same mindset is important. And मुझे तो लगता है, I think वो sometimes they say that things happen for good. I don't completely agree, but in my case it did,
It did.
because I feel the career trajectory that I have now wouldn't have been possible if I wouldn't have got laid off. So sometimes whenever now bad things happen to me, I just go back to the same thinking that
I
maybe
think कॉन्फिडेंस भी बहुत देता है कि अगर ये चीज पार कर ली
Yeah,
ये
yeah.
चीज हमने अचीव कर ली इन द टफेस्ट ऑफ टाइम्स
yeah,
देन आगे आने वाली प्रॉब्लम शायद उस प्रॉब्लम से छोटी ही होगी मतलब
exactly, yeah.
uh,
And why you remember how you survived during those tough times. So from here on, anything that happens, you know that you have the willpower.
विल पावर टू डू इट या अग्रीड
Yeah.
सो पर यूएस में ले ऑफ क्यों इतना डरावना है कितना टाइम मिलता है ले ऑफ के बाद
I think
तो
3 months, around 3 months you get, and it again depends
3
on
months में
which
जॉब
part
नहीं
of.
मिली तो वापस
Yeah. I think it also depends on which part of immigrant visa. Like I'm right now in H1B, but if you are on OPT or something like that, you have different
more
6
time
months. Yeah.
yeah
So I don't know the technicality, but yeah, I feel coming back to the point why it's scary for an immigrant, or if you are a citizen but you don't have a financial backing or
right
savings,
right
which you will find quite often is the case in states. You won't find as much savings happening like in India by average citizen over here. But yeah, for an immigrant, it's pretty scary, because you know that you have limited time, and you need to then again start the same whole process of networking, and then updating your resume, and doing recruiter calls, all sorts of rounds of interviews, and just overselling yourself and pretending that, listen, I'm the best candidate, which of course you know that there will be better candidates, but you just have to keep overselling.
हाँ
तो वो बहुत थोड़ा हार्ड वर्किंग भी होता है, बट थोड़ा एग्जॉस्टिंग भी हो जाता है आफ्टर पॉइंट यार.
गुजराती में एक कहावत है बोले तेना बोर वेचाय राइट लाइक यू हैव टू सेल योरसेल्फ
एग्जैक्टली, या. सो वही है.
तो how was your then Goldman happened like how was that
Like I said, like I feel I had good backing in terms of friends and family. One of my very good friends, she referred me in Goldman in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is one of the states in US.
काफी बड़ा हब है ना गोल्डमैन का उधर मतलब
Yeah,
like a lot of
because वहाँ पे
employees and
tax reasons के वजह से many companies have their back offices and all over there.
yeah
So I was working in operations over there, and that's why I got to explore Salt Lake City, which in itself is it has a reputation of being some kind of a city for some religion, but I feel it's one of the most beautiful cities which one should visit, and I wouldn't have got the privilege to visit that if this wouldn't
Goldman
have
didn't happen
happened.
yeah
तो
so कुछ अच्छी
yeah,
चीजें
so
भी
destiny is written sometimes.
yeah true
Yeah.
true तो और फिर गोल्डमैन के बाद then you decided that you wanted a change
Yeah,
and then you started applying और
Yeah.
फिर वापस वही process जो भी
exactly. Yeah. I feel my work culture was not ideal, and the
अच्छा
work that I was doing was also not right fit for me. But because मेरा visa got picked, I had to stick around for at least 6 months. So I had to go through that day-to-day basis of struggle that I was facing in Goldman also. But after that, that struggle itself enabled me to ensure कि अभी मुझे यहाँ से निकलना है. So I put in a lot of effort. So much so that sometimes I used to go to the bathroom and start doing applications over there itself. Yeah, because I feel मुझे ऐसा लगता था, and this is me overthinking कि sometimes it's also your timing that matters when you apply.
तो बाथरूम करते टाइम सुबह वो लोग
मैं चेक करता था कि अच्छा ये 10 minutes पहले अप्लाई हो गया. Okay. I think if I take this break after 1 hour, this will be the ideal time for the recruiter to check my
क्या पता
application.
रिक्रूटर भी बाथरूम में बैठ के मेल चेक कर रहा हो.
And all of these, and you know, sometimes you create your own causal inferences even though वो सिर्फ correlation था.
I agree.
So I think that's what happened, and but I used to get so many recruiter calls. So in my head, I'm like, okay, whatever method that I'm doing, maybe theoretically it's not correct, but I think it's working out for me practically, so why not go ahead with it?
True, agreed. So the world of finance and technology overall is rapidly changing. कि भाई AI आ रहा है, fintech में भी AI का बहुत use चालू हो रहा है. So what kind of trend do you want to be a part of? कि यार अगर US में है, you are at the forefront of technology, you are in a country that helps you do it. So do you want to be a part of a trend that is changing the world, and what kind of trend that you are most bullish on?
Again, I feel since you made the analogy that I'm like Farhan, but I still haven't figured out my passion. Since I haven't figured out my passion, the only thing that I want to continue doing is just thicken my wallet. So any industry.
Okay, very honest.
Yeah, 100%. And like you asked me like why you were in US. I feel eventually with time I figured out that it's I think I'm earning good enough money, and I feel I wouldn't be earning that much in India. So I think in the future also, whichever industries that I want to pursue, I feel it has to be something that adds to my wealth. Having said that, once I know okay, yeah, this has clicked, I would want to stick to that. So far I haven't figured that out, but hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, everything like that. I hopefully if I do, I would want to stick to that.
Yeah, hopefully that happens for me as well. But 9 out of 10 लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं पैसा कमाने. Well, let's be honest.
Yeah, and
तो मतलब I hope that happens for all of us.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like I feel many people say, and this is again my opinion, many people say that, oh, you should know what you want to do. It's tough to find. I mean, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि instead of pretending to say that you like this or you have a passion for this, it's okay to be uncertain and keep exploring.
Yeah, agree.
Because I feel if you are lucky enough to find it what you're passionate of, you can endure the challenges that you face. And if you don't, and if you keep pretending that you like it, it'll be tough to maintain the challenges that you face in that industry and the work that you do.
Right, makes sense. Agreed. Totally.
Yeah, but having said that, I still like the work that I do. I won't claim it to be my passion that I want to keep doing this.
नहीं ठीक है ना. हाँ मतलब
मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल रहा है, and I think that's pretty much the second part I feel important के other than wealth, I think I want to keep learning, because the future of any industry or employment or career that one pursues, it has to be constant learning.
मतलब you are more like Raju more than Farhan कि भाई एक चीज में घुस गया
other than the fact कि मैं कोई
वो नहीं, but like engineering कर रहा है, वो चीज अच्छे से करनी है और करती जानी है until you find a passion. Yeah. तो थोड़ा फन चीज पे आता है, लाइक यूएस की लाइफस्टाइल के टुवर्ड्स बहुत फैसिनेशन रहता है पूरी दुनिया को, इंडिया को, अमेरिकन ड्रीम. तो क्या बेस्ट चीज लगती है यूएस की लाइफस्टाइल के बारे में?
बेस्ट चीज that is, I think there's the freedom and
liberty.
Yeah, you understand what context I'm talking about, but I think वो तो सब जगह पे है, right? Like what's so new? I'm thinking of some staple answer, but I don't know. I feel I just like
पैसा भी बोल सकते हो जैसे
अभी वो because already बोल चुका ना मैं,
बोल
क्या बोलूँगा?
नहीं पैसा पूरा पैसा भी चलेगा एकदम, हर चीज में पैसा.
I think मुझे ऐसा लगता है privacy that you get over here is what I like. In India especially, most of us are from a big fat Indian family. It's difficult to get some sort of privacy. ऐसा नहीं है कि मुझे privacy नहीं ही मिलती है या फिर I want to be isolated with my family, but some sort of understanding.
हाँ, मतलब लोग क्या कहेंगे एक बड़ा फैक्टर बन जाता है इंडिया
Yeah,
में.
exactly. यहाँ पे I mean तुम you are naked and you're walking in a real. I mean I think okay. I think maybe I'm exaggerating. But if you are in an underwear, also look, maybe they will watch for a split seconds. Or for that matter, if you get into an accident or road rash, कोई वीडियो बना के खड़े नहीं रहेगा. Everyone has their own shit to deal with,
हाँ,
which is what I like.
हाँ,
And that, at the same time, this shows that people are not afraid of being isolated over here. They are happy with their that individual lifestyle. In India, with the same, अगर ऐसा ही होता ना, we will feel a little more lonely. तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है learning to stay alone and dealing with your day-to-day things, you start liking that after a while.
right. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that's also one of the good parts about the US, that no one realizes that it is a part and parcel of coming to the US.
I agree. And having said that, because we also pursued our masters together, you would have known how much people from even diverse culture you get to mingle with over
True.
here. Like I don't think मैं Mumbai में बैठ के I was getting to meet people from different races, different religions, and just understanding which culture they are coming from.
Yeah.
ये मुझे यहाँ पे आके सीखने को मिला, and I feel that is fun to know people where they are coming from. At the same time, you are around your Indian community also, तो वो भी है.
और लोगों को लगता है कि it's not a big deal knowing someone from a different geography, different race or different religion, but it's actually is, because when you start talking to them, then you realize कि भाई उनके विचार और उनके way of doing things is so different
I
than
agree.
yours, that you also learn from that. You also start respecting people as they are, like okay ठीक है, you accept it, like acceptance or tolerance or respect चीज़ों के लिए और लोगों के लिए बहुत बढ़ जाता है when you start meeting from different diverse places and geography.
Exactly, and then you also figure out how much you don't know. मतलब
Exactly,
we come
yeah.
from our own narrow mindset कि I am from Mumbai, I know this.
हाँ.
Firstly, मैं जब यहाँ आया मुझे realize हुआ कि just because you are from a metro city, you don't really know India. The true India is a lot more bigger. The landscape is much bigger, which you haven't explored. तो मुझे लगता है इंडिया इटसेल्फ मैंने बहुत सी चीजें इंडिया के बारे में यहाँ के डिस्कवर की, अदर देन द फैक्ट दैट ऑफ कोर्स
क्योंकि यहाँ पे इंडिया के बहुत लोग दूसरे लोग मिलते हैं
exactly from southern
मुंबई में
states,
नहीं
from
मिले
Delhi,
थे.
from
हाँ.
all different central states. So it broadens your own mindset and it helps you shape your own personality.
Makes sense. So what's your favorite pastime in the US? जैसे loneliness की बहुत बात हुई, तो to kill that, what do you do?
I lately I started working out, which don't go by my body, but I definitely started working out, and sometimes I play some sport, like you guys know, I've been playing pickleball with you guys, and just exploring different things.
Museum. I think you go to a lot of museums also. I've seen in your stories and stuff.
I like going to museums, especially alone, because मुझे ऐसा लगता है museum means that you're consuming a lot of things, and if you go with a group of people, उनके पेस के हिसाब से तुम्हें मैनेज करना पड़ता है, which is what I don't like.
तुम पढ़ते रहते हो और वो आगे आधा म्यूजियम
exactly, अरे यार चलना क्या पढ़ रहा है, and I'm like यार मतलब that's why we are here. Why do you think you want to explore? तो मैं इतना कि there's a spy museum in DC, and especially someone who is a big fan of espionage films, you get to explore how real life spy functioned. You get to see them. एंड यार हाँ, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत सी चीज़ें जो इंडिया में बैठ के हम वेस्टर्न कल्चर्स के बारे में पढ़ते थे, वो मैं आज रियल वर्ल्ड में जाके एक्सप्लोर कर रहा हूँ, एंड दैट्स व्हाट आई एम रियली सुपर प्राउड ऑफ.
नाइस. या सो पूरे कॉन्वर्जेशन में बहुत बार हम लोगों ने मूवी और बॉलीवुड रेफरेंसेस दिए हैं, एंड आई फील एवरी टाइम आई मीट यू, you always have a Bollywood reference with you. I'm shocked कि कम है, in fact ये conversation में कम आज Bollywood references हुआ है. तो do you like Bollywood is something that is almost your passion, मतलब in terms of
I won't say
hobby.
Yeah, I agree. I think I didn't choose it. It's just a part of me. Maybe because when we were growing up, तभी इतने सारे sources of entertainment नहीं थे यार, OTTs नहीं था, या फिर I used to not play much video games. So for me, Bollywood became my go-to thing in my pastime. So that's why I think I know a lot more about it. also we become and this is my personal opinion again, हम लोग यहाँ पे आके we become a lot more Indian than we were.
True.
I don't think इतने प्रियादर्शन films I have seen over here जितने मैंने इंडिया में बैठ के देखे थे. इंडिया में बैठ के I was consuming Western culture and then यहाँ पे आके I'm going back to Bollywood because I'm like, oh, this is my country, I'm going back to it, I want to consume more of it. तो वैसा हो जाता है यहाँ पे.
हाँ, ट्रू. मतलब इंडिया में कोई हर पार्टी में छैया छैया नहीं बचता है. यहाँ पे पता नहीं हर पार्टी में छैया छैया is mandatory.
There's actually I forgot the name, but there's one Hollywood movie जहाँ पे the opening theme is छैया छैया.
हाँ, मैंने भी ये सुना है कहीं पे.
It just shows like not just us, we have converted even white folks or folks from Hollywood into following Bollywood culture.
तो
which is
वो one very interesting question I have. ये question हम लोगों ने ग्रुप्स में बहुत बार पूछा है. What movie character do you think you relate to most? Like अगर ऑडियंस को ऋषि कौन है जानना है, तो एक मूवी कैरेक्टर कि भाई ये मूवी देख लोगे तो that is me.
I usually relate a lot more with characters in Imtiaz Ali films. Not in the context ki they are going through something in their love life or conundrum that they are facing. Not
events
that way.
Like how they react to things and
how they think, how their mindset is.
Yeah.
So maybe Ved from Tamasha or Aditya.
I had a feeling that
Aditya from Jab We Met. I mean those are my go-to characters sometimes. And I also, because if you think about their characters, their frequency is कि वो लोग suddenly switch हो जाते हैं. They are suddenly in a hyper mode, suddenly in a happy mode, and then suddenly in a depressed mode. तो मुझे भी कभी-कभी लगता है मैं ऐसे medium.
ये बहुत healthy है, ऐसा नहीं
यार मतलब I'm working on it. So that's, and मुझे लगता है that's fine. Yeah, that's how part and parcel of life is.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, नहीं.
Yeah. तो एक बहुत ही hidden skill के बारे में मुझे पता है ऋषि की. तो वो स्किल आज टेस्ट होगी कि ऋषि इज समवन की भाई 2000s के बाद की 2000s की जो बॉलीवुड मूवीज है उसके बारे में ऋषि को बहुत नॉलेज है. मतलब अगर मैं ऋषि को एक बॉलीवुड मूवी नेम बता दूं तो वो मेरे को कौन से ईयर का रिलीज है वो बता सकता है. कैन यू टेल मी द डायरेक्टर नेम एंड ऑल आल्सो?
नो, आई डोंट थिंक मैं इतना पास्ट टाइम.
ठीक है, काम करते हैं कि आई विल आस्क यू अ फ्यू मूवी नेम्स. अगर उसका डायरेक्टर नेम या ऐसा कुछ बता पा रहे हो तो यू कैन, बट ईयर तो बताना पड़ेगा.
ओके, जस्ट फॉर द ऑडियंस, आई थिंक दे शुड नो दिस इज नॉट स्क्रिप्टेड. एंड इफ
स्क्रिप्टेड तो कुछ नहीं है भाई.
हाँ नहीं, in case because they'll how does it, and in case I don't know any of the movies, at least you will figure out that this was not scripted. So in both ways I'm good.
Makes sense. तो okay, let's I have a list of movies. पहला तो बहुत सिंपल है. हम सबकी फेवरेट मूवी है वेलकम.
2007.
डायरेक्टर
Anis Bazmi.
Wow.
Oh, you're asking directors also, but
नहीं, I mean it's a surprise thing. मतलब अगर डायरेक्टर का एक्सपेक्टेशन मेरे को नहीं है, बट अगर आ गया तो आ गया. Yours तो I have an expectation कि yours तो मालूम होना चाहिए.
I guess.
तो स्वदेश
2004.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Any director?
Well, so I mean, so in case you don't know the correct answer, you can check it post the interview.
नहीं, मेरे पास है. तो ब्लैक
2005.
Wow, okay. जजंतरम ममंतरम बहुत ही
this
classic.
is tough. I don't know. I mean, okay. I think it's 3 years, 2001 to 3 के बीच में मुझे
एक कोई एक.
Oh,
you are close, but कोई एक पिक करना पड़ेगा.
Close 2003 wise के 1 wise. Okay, sorry. 2003.
You are right.
Oh,
you are right.
That's great.
ये भी बहुत easy है. Next, कल हो ना हो
2003.
Amazing. Any कल हो ना हो का डायरेक्टर तो
निखिल अडवाणी.
मेरे को नहीं मालूम.
Yeah, it's निखिल अडवाणी क्योंकि मैंने अभी उसका recent interview देखा.
हम हमारे प्रोडक्शन स्टाफ को पूछेंगे कि राइट है कि नहीं. फिर वीर ज़ारा
2004.
Amazing. देवदास
2002.
Okay. Lagan
2001.
Okay. This is I cannot believe this.
I'll tell you what.
क्या है एक
encyclopedia? I'll tell you what I'm, and this is my psyche. Why I know this. I feel sometimes when I consume something, I would want to know which year it was released in. Of course, जब मैं छोटा था, I was not and knowing that this is released in 2000. Over time, I've seen these movies so many times that I have researched on it. When was it released? Who's the director? So it stayed in my head. But after very long, someone pointed it out. Oh, how do you know the year? तो तब जाके मुझे पता चला, अच्छा ये useless skill I
यार
have.
see you have a passion ना.
I guess
you
so.
should do movie critic or something वो
I
राजीव मस्तान type कुछ.
I guess there is this way too oversupply of critics out there. तो
यार अपना unique चीज तुम लेके जाओ और क्या पता.
maybe this is something I can fall back to once things are looking a little hazy for me in the future.
Right, I see.
So,
Very
but
diplomatic
that's a great
answer.
idea.
तो एक और since interesting चीजों के बारे में बात चल ही रही है, एक और बहुत ही interesting चीज मेरे को पता है already तेरे बारे में कि you mentioned in one of those conversations that we always have at our place, parties and all, उसमें you have mentioned कि you are someone who follows Osho's philosophy.
Yeah.
So is that true? Is that
I won't say I follow every philosophy. I admire him a lot. And I don't usually...
But you know how controversial he is.
Yeah, I
especially
know.
in
I
USA.
understand. See, I understand everything. But I feel if you are with that stature, if you have influenced so many people, of course you would be controversial. You know.
But come on,
there
are some things that are.
Yeah,
it's not about कि stature की वजह से controversial. It's कि भाई वो है कौन मतलब.
I agree, but मुझे लगता है कि there are a lot of things which I admire about him, and I feel आजकल के जो भी all these gurus you see, or you know, all these influential gurus especially, they don't unka foundation was laid by him, if you think about it.
Really?
Yeah, because all the thought about individual freedom, people questioning organized religion, institution of marriage, ये सब चीजें आजकल लोग बात करते हैं, but he spoke it during 70s and 80s,
right,
when people were a lot more conservative, and convincing our parents and grandfathers generation, influencing them who have closed mindset. I think it takes a lot more influential power one can think of. So
कोई ऐसा specific philosophy है that you like, या फिर just the ability of him that he was able to like influence so many?
I think मुझे लगता है his many point of views were a little different than traditional point of views. Like I mentioned, like him questioning the institution of marriage, questioning organized religion, talking about individual freedom. मुझे लगता है कि बहुत लोगों ने उस टाइम पे उस चीज़ पे बात नहीं की थी. Let me give you like a simple example. For instance, everyone thinks that when Gandhiji traveled in third class compartment, it showcases him in a bigger limelight, showcases how giving nature he is. But he thought of it in a practical stance ke, because he was traveling in the third class, the whole third class compartment was getting booked, which meant that people who actually needed to travel in third class were not traveling in that. So it was a little contradictory,
so
right?
Wait. So जब गांधी जी थर्ड क्लास में ट्रैवल कर रहे थे तो उनके साथ और जो इन्फ्लुएंशियल और अमीर लोग जो भी थे उस लेवल के पॉलिटिकल लोग थे, वो लोग पूरा डब्बा
they were traveling, and
तो
people who
एक्चुअल में जरूरत थी वो लोग नहीं
they were
कर
not
पा
traveling.
रहे थे. Wow,
And this is just a little example. Of course, जब तुम YouTube जाओगे और you will go across his library, you'll like, wow, what a intellect he is. Like I feel you will get this split second of enlightenment in every video that you see of his.
I see.
तो वही है, मतलब
देखना पड़ेगा यार अभी next thing on the
तो
list.
मुझे, and that's what I feel. आजकल के all these babas and gurus, they don't influence me that much. They don't say something like this of such a nature ki, oh wow, what a statement he said. And that's why I feel I have a special admiration for him compared to any other folks.
Makes sense. तो बट बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीज मेरे को जानने मिली, मतलब एंड ओवरऑल भी, राइट फ्रॉम योर यूएस जर्नी टू बॉलीवुड टू Layoffs to Osho, so many things.
But yeah, I mean, I hope that any of your audiences, if they are here to understand how it is to live in India versus in the US, they get some value out of this, because to be honest, at the end of the day, it's your individual journey.
Agreed.
And everyone will say that this is the hack to pursue this and all. मुझे personally लगता है your individual story is your story. Whenever you say something,
formula nahi hai.
There is no formula.
I
have seen many of these LinkedIn influencers claiming that, oh, you should do this. Yeah, matlab, after I got laid off and then I got a job, I can make a big LinkedIn post about what all things I did to ensure that I get back in the game. I don't think so. I feel individually what works for you is something that's working out for you because that's what you're good at.
True.
Doesn't mean that it works out for anyone else. Having said that, it's good to know try different things, try different experiments, but it's your individual journey, and I think you should be proud of that.
I think ये clip का मैं this clip will be my title video for everything
100%.
because this is my goal through
Yeah.
this podcast कि मुझे ये realize करवाना है कि भाई Instagram influencers, LinkedIn influencers तुमको बना रहे हैं कुछ हद तक. एक कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है. हर एक की जर्नी अलग है और वही जर्नी को like the more you know about people, the more you can take ideas from that journey rather than making it a formula. कि अच्छा ये पॉडकास्ट में देखा था ऋषि का ले ऑफ हुआ था तो उसने टॉयलेट पे बैठ के भी अप्लाई किया था. तो कल को मेरे साथ कुछ बुरा हो जाए तो I have to be that dedicated to keep on applying. That's what I take away from today's podcast.
I know, because I see many LinkedIn influencers, I won't name them, like they try to exploit many of these job seekers who are desperate. And मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि you have to take everything with a pinch of salt. See what works out for you, learn from everything, but it's your individual story that you need to create.
Right.
And at the end of it, regardless of whatever the outcome is, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि in this whole process itself, you will learn and you will grow so much कि you will figure out something out.
Right.
And
Agreed.
whether it's over here or in India, whatever works out for you, but you will definitely grow over time in terms of personality and your prospects.
Agreed, totally agree, and thank you for again. You are hitting the right nerves that I always want to like. I'm very excited for this podcast today because जो भी मुझे like करना था ये podcast के through, वो successfully हो रहा है. At least 10 लोग भी देख के अगर इसको motivate हो रहे हैं तो my job is done here.
I agree, right? I mean, at the end, it's not just the number of people, but given so many influencers out there, लोगों के पास ज्ञान तो बहुत है, but when it's actually needed, clicking it कि हाँ, he said that it's something that will happen with me, and I don't need to be just following blindlessly everyone. मुझे ऐसा लगता है that's fine. And
तो मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन होने वाला था कि कोई एडवाइस देना है. मतलब हम लोगों ने एडवाइस भरी ही बातें की है पिछले 5 मिनट में, बट मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये होने वाला था कि कोई एडवाइस फॉर समवन हु इज मूविंग, like other than what we've already discussed, something that's not told by anyone, something advice, not a formula. ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई होली ग्रेल है जो ऋषि बोल रहा है. कोई कुछ एक एडवाइस जो that has really helped you. I think
I don't know, I feel एक advice which is super, but just get good sleep, stay hydrated. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि सब लोग motivational advice देते हैं, मैं तो बोलता हूँ तुम health wise advice ले लो. I feel just having good sleep, eating good food and staying hydrated, that itself will uplift your mood इतना कि बाकी सारी चीजें तो वैसे भी लोग ज्ञान पेल रहे हैं. So I feel just stick to basics, and that itself will help you because मुझे ऐसा लगता है every action that you do is so much more about the mindset that you are in. So just getting good 8 hours of sleep and just being hydrated, that itself goes in uplifting your mood so much, and that's what I have felt. And I would say regardless of whether you're in States or in India, just sticking to this basic routine can help you so much in your day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So before we end, एक और चीज, Bollywood is your useless skill that you have, remembering yours. एक और कोई useless skill जिसके बारे में मेरे को पता है, but you want to
I feel मैं आजकल useless चीजों के बारे में कम सोच रहा हूँ.
Useless talent.
Is there? Do I have another useless?
You whistle.
Oh yeah, I whistle. I mean, that's not talent. I think
I want to listen to some very famous tune.
I'm
going to put that whistle as my ending audio.
Okay, I think you're putting me on spot here, but
I think वो thank you का tune या फिर ये सब tunes you do really well.
Yeah. I'll give you a little story here before, since we are at the end of our podcast. Like when I was in Singapore, वो जब hostel में था ना, again whistling was my very usual nature, and पता नहीं मैं क्यों करता हूँ, but I have this thing of humming all the Bollywood songs. So the specifically Love आजकल का दूरिया tune I used to whistle, and I have a tendency कि जब मैं ऐसे ही aimlessly walk around the corridors, मैं whistle करता था. By the 3rd or 4th month before I left, it became a norm in that hostel that if anyone is walking, you have to whistle, especially to that tone. So people used to whistle, and everyone पहले initially लगता था, oh, Rhushi might be walking around the corridors. Then it became a norm कि अच्छा, someone is walking, someone is whistling, because they're just walking in the corridors.
What?
And I started that culture. मेरा कोई intention भी नहीं
मेरे को
था.
लगता है अभी भी चल रहा होगा वो कल्चर उधर.
नहीं अभी maybe whistling culture चल रहा होगा, song change हो चुका
हाँ
होगा.
song change हो चुका होगा.
Because but I don't know, but nowadays given the type of songs that come in, I don't think whistling उतना होता है. Which one's your favorite? I can try.
I think my favorite is Thank You. But
Thank You.
You can do yours.
Yeah, I think Thank You works well. So do you want to whistle on the camera?
What else? मतलब.
Okay. That's
Agree. बढ़िया, बहुत ही बढ़िया.
I think this worked out much well than I thought it would.
बहुत ही बढ़िया. Okay, that brings us to the end of another very interesting episode of Log Kya Kahenge with Rhushi Shah. And I promise you that I'll bring more such interesting stuff, and you will know more such stories about people living in the US. And thank you so much for watching till the end. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Subscribers really help us, and it keeps us motivated to bring more such episodes. Thank you so much.
Thank
you,
you.
Rhushi.
Thank you.